Planning Commission public hearing for July 16th. Please everybody rise for the flag pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I have a few items covered before we get started. Please sign in at the door if you have not already done so. There will also find a detailed handout of the step-by-step procedure we will follow tonight. If you wish to take one, please put any electronic device on silent mode at this time. Also, please note that all testimony is being recorded for the record. Members of the Planning Commission are appointed by the County Board of Commissioners with one member from each of the 5 commissioner districts. Land Service staff is here to assist the Planning Commission with its duties. The task of the Planning Commission is to hold a public hearing and make a recommendation to the County Board of Commissioners for approval or denial of requests for conditional and interim use permits, rezones, plats, and ordinance amendments in accordance with the state law and county ordinance. The burden of proving a request meets the criteria for approval rests with the applicant. There is a protocol for how we will proceed tonight for each request. On the agenda, we will hear a staff report, hear testimony from the applicants, and then we will discuss and gather more information as needed. Next, I will ask if there's anyone in the audience wishing to speak to the request. I will ask each party to come to the podium, state their name and address for the record, and give their testimony. Please be as factual as possible and direct all statements and questions to me. After all testimony is complete, I will close the public hearing portion of the process. The Planning Commission will then review and discuss the case in terms of the finding of fact criteria as required by Minnesota statute and county ordinance. We'll have a series of votes, discuss whether conditions be made, then there will be a final motion to recommend approval or denial to the County Board of Commissioners. After this final vote on your request, you may leave if you wish. The County Board of Commissioners will then consider the request and our recommendation at their next regular meeting and will either grant or deny the request. So I guess we got one item on the planning side here, and that is proposed floodplain ordinance amendments. And I guess we'll go to Amy if she has a staff report on that or anything.
Mr. Chair, I don't have a staff report, but I just do have a little bit of discussion. You've received, and I can pull up the document here in a minute, but you've received the proposed floodplain ordinance section. There really isn't a whole lot to talk about just because these are mandatory adoptions. So in order for Morrison County to continue to stay in the National Flood Insurance Program and for residents to be able to take advantage of that, we must have a ordinance in place that adopts the most current map that FEMA has, and then also the minimum standards for FEMA. And what I've put forward meets those minimum standards. A couple of things that I'll share with you is I did receive a letter from the Department of Natural Resources, which is our FEMA liaison, and they have provided us with conditional approval of our draft ordinance. So essentially what this is saying is this is substantially in compliance, and the only comment they had was in one section of our ordinance, we reference the flood insurance rate map panels. FEMA is requiring us to list all of those panels, and so that is the only change that they are requiring that we make. Otherwise, they're saying this ordinance meets those minimum requirements. So with that, I know we've talked about this before. The county board has also reviewed the ordinance and is aware of it, so this really should just be a fairly straightforward adoption. And but we certainly need to hold a public hearing and ask if there is any public comment regarding this.
Okay, so I guess as far as our board goes, we all read through all this stuff. We've talked about it for a few months now. But before we go to public comment, is there anybody that's confused, any questions or comments on it? If not, we'll just move to the public or at this time, we'll open it up to the public. If there's anybody that wish to speak on this, please go to the podium and say your comment, question, any of that. Then I have to ask 3 times, so is there any public comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public for comment. Okay, you guys, I guess all we really gotta do is vote on this, so we'll just roll call vote, yay or nay, or yes or no. Unless anybody has anything, we'll just vote. Well, or we have to have a motion, I suppose, huh?
You would, yeah, someone would make a motion to recommend approval or adoption,
Yep.
and then you would take that vote, yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt these regulations that have been brought before us.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay, so we have a motion made and seconded to recommend approval of the County Board of Commissioners on floodplain ordinance amendments. All in favor say aye. Brent?
Aye.
Marv?
Aye.
Myself, Clint is aye, and John.
Aye.
Okay, so motion passes, so we'll recommend approval to the County Board of Commissioners.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. And that's all I have for agenda items for tonight.
So then we probably got some minutes from June 11th. We didn't have at our 30th, we didn't have a planning meeting, so anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay, motion made and seconded to approve the June 11th 2024 minutes. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, minutes approved. I don't know of any new business or old business. Anybody have any new or old business?
The only thing is I did register you and George for that zoning training that I had put out, so you should have something in your email with your ticket to get
Okay.
into that training, and I think you'll probably get details about that,
Okay.
but, and then the rest of the land services staff will be joining you.
Okay.
I won't be,
Yep.
but the rest of the staff will be there as
Okay.
well, so.
Good, cool. Okay, I guess if there's nothing else, we could take a motion adjourn.
So moved.
I'll
Seconded.
second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Meeting adjourned at 6:08.